Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Counselor Sarnosky.
Here.
Counselor Smalley.
Here.
Counselor Hamilton.
Here.
Council President Whitaker.
Here.
Counselor Woods.
Here.
Counselor Daigle.
Here.
Mayor Sutherlin.
Here. Any media in the room? Anyone wishing to speak before City Council today on any subject matter will need to fill out a speaker form and turn it into the recorder. Forms are available on the sign-in table in the back of the room. Please turn cell phones off or silence them during the meeting. Announcement for Zoom attendees. If you're joining today's meeting via Zoom, you will automatically be muted upon entry, and you'll need to identify yourself if your full name is not already attached to the device being used. You will be unable to unmute yourself. Public comments will only be taken if prior notification was given to the city recorder. Public comment. The purpose of this public comment period is to allow citizens to present information or raise issues regarding agenda items only. There will be a time at the end of the meeting for citizens to speak about off-agenda items. A time limit of 3 minutes per citizen shall apply. All citizens must come up to the microphone. The council appreciates the time taken by the public to provide comments and desires to hear your thoughts and concerns. However, to be able to run our meeting efficiently and to protect the rights of all involved, the city needs to utilize this time as a period of receiving rather than providing information. Thank you for your understanding. I have 2 public comments, starting with Larry Spielbush.
Good morning. My name is Larry Spielbush, 409 Opal Street. I have a comment or questions and concerns regarding the heavy haul dump truck that you guys are going to be asked to approve. I find it hard to believe that a heavy haul dump truck for a city the size of Sutherlin is necessary. And I wonder why such a large truck is being purchased for the city. And were there other bids for a heavy haul truck? Was this put out for any kind of a bid proposal process? Because a truck more appropriately the size of the city of Sutherlin would be about half that, 188,000. The other question is, why couldn't you contract? If you need a heavy haul, there's a lot of heavy haulers running around the county that could contract out any heavy haul issues you might come across. Has that been evaluated to see what that's going to be? Secondly, is this truck being purchased for Oak Street Commons? For the removing all of that debris that's over on that side? And if it is, why is the city doing that? And why isn't it being done under a contract using the grant money for that purpose? That's all part of the development cost. So I know you're not going to answer the question, but I want the council to understand that is a pretty large truck for a city the size of Sutherlin. And there are other options that should be evaluated before you buy that truck. And I would like to know when we're going to get a complete update on the status of the Oak Street Commons. What's being done? What's it costing? Is there redevelopment? I've read the geotech report, but there isn't any foundation evaluations relative to that. So what's going on? It appears the city is going to be continuing with that, and a lot of property tax dollars are going to be spent on that. So why don't you let the citizens know? Why haven't we got an update of some sorts? So I'd appreciate if you would consider that. Thank you.
And I just want to comment on the dump truck stuff that will be presented, and your questions will be answered on that when the presentation is is done during city council.
Understand that.
And the next one is Karen Meyer.
Karen Meyer, Sutherlin. You have the petition before you today, and I wanted to let you know that the petition is, we are not against funding our safety departments. Most of us, our safety departments are very important to us. My family, it was the victim of a violent crime 40 years ago, and we developed a real relationship with our police department and consider it very important. What the petition is about is you justifying the money you're spending on other projects that are coming from the funds that are designated for our safety departments. I did a little evaluation of my property taxes since 2020, and I saw that if we were not taking URA out and
Taking what out?
urban renewal funds, if you were not taking those out of the property taxes, and we were getting the 3% on what was going to the city, like we always had been, the 3% raise, that my property, what I paid to the city this year would be $105 and some cents more if you were not taking that urban renewal money out. So instead, we're paying a safety fee of $109, now $105 and $109. I don't know if that's a coincidence, but to me, it looks like the safety fee is going for urban renewal. And if it is, if that's it, I mean, that is where the general fund is funding it. And I think the people should have been allowed to know that somewhere down the line, we were going to be paying for it with an extra fee. The other thing is Oak Street Commons, and Oak Street Commons was $600,000, and there was a lot of talking about how that didn't come out of the general fund, and it comes out of the general fund. The $220,000 that came from Public Works could have very easily it was put into the general fund to buy the property. It could have been put into the general fund just as easily to pay our safety departments. And there's the $350,000. I know there's $350,000 that's a loan. A loan to the general fund comes out of the general fund. They have to pay it back. So
Thank you. Any other public comment on topic? Under the consent agenda, January 12th, 2026, City Council minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January 12th, 2026.
A second.
I have a motion and a second.
I have a first by Hamilton and a second by Whitaker.
Any discussion? Let's vote.
Counselor Sarnoski,
Aye.
Counselor Smaller,
Aye.
Counselor Hamilton,
Aye.
Council President Whitaker,
Aye.
Counselor Woods,
Aye.
Counselor Daigle,
Aye.
Mayor Sumner.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under council business, resolution 2026.03, fixing the time, frequency, and place for holding of regular city council meetings. The staff report.
Mayor and councilors, chapter 4, section 10 of our charter requires the council to designate a time and place for its meetings. Additional sections of our code require that council establish its regular schedule, including time, frequency, and location. As discussed at our last meeting, council expressed that 10 a.m. on the second Monday of the month would work well, and that they would like to move forward with a resolution to make that change. Your options are to approve or deny resolution 2026.03, fixing the time, frequency, and place for holding of regular city council meetings. The suggested motion is to approve resolution 2026.03, fixing the time, frequency, and place for holding of regular city council meetings.
Motion.
Make a motion to approve this.
A second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2026.03, fixing the time, frequency, and place for holding of regular city council meetings as presented.
All right, first by Sutherlin and a second by Hamilton.
Any discussion?
So this is just to set a place.
Make it official.
Make it official that we have changed it to the first or the second Monday at 10 o'clock, and also that it's in our it's a resolution that says we have it set for a date and time now.
Okay, so why don't we just make that the motion that we have it on the Monday? That sounds like.
It has to be in the form of a resolution because that's what our code requires, so
It just makes it official.
it makes it officially.
Is there, have we considered, because I know that, I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, I don't know if I'm still on mute. Have we considered, I know that there's been some, I know it was part of, for people who work during the day, it's difficult for them to make the evening meetings. Is there a way that we can do like an alternating meeting, alternating it somehow where we do like an evening meeting one time and a day meeting another, so that there's an option for so that there's people that can make evenings available, just so there's availability. I'm just trying to, I know that most people, the same people attend the meetings, but at least we're trying to make it available for everyone, giving an option.
They can do just like what you're doing, Lisa.
I'm sorry?
They can do just like what you're doing.
Yeah, I understand, but I don't know that everyone is going to do what I do. I just am trying to.
My thoughts was that we try this for give it a try, because we're getting a whole lot of participation, and we can try this, and if we find after 6-8 months or whatever that we're not getting a lot of participation, or we're getting I didn't get a lot of feedback at all.
Okay.
That and we decide as a group that it's not working, that we can change that.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to the morning. I'm not opposed to the day. I'm just, thinking about those people who don't have any flexibility in their schedules, who can't make the mornings, who are eliminated from those evening, from the morning meetings, and who can only make evening meetings is my only consideration. So
I did have one suggestion that maybe we live stream it on like one of the platforms. Some places will live stream it on like Facebook or YouTube or something like that. That's a possibility. I don't know if that's any different than just logging in Zoom or just.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're making it possible for people to have access to the meetings when possible.
We already have more here than we had normally.
Last several minutes.
Yeah, no, I understand. I just want to go on the record for saying that having access.
This is a trial.
Yeah.
That was my question.
So let's wait for what it is.
Just trial, see, just picture.
Why do we have to make a resolution to do a trial?
Because our code said
Yeah,
that.
we have to, but we could, I'm assuming we can change it at a later date if we wanted to. We can't, we have to make a resolution. to change it.
Resolution that starts the time.
Yeah.
And then if we want to change it later, we can change the resolution.
We just have to go through the same process.
Exactly.
Just for the record, I'm not opposed to doing it this way. I don't want people to think that we're trying to do something underhand. And I think we had enough of that stuff.
I don't think that this. I would just like to see more participation, so it seems like it's working so far. We'll see if it.
I really like the idea that some of the government classes at schools are now able to attend. Which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a really good positive about being able to do it during the day, is getting the youth more involved.
Okay. We have we did have a first motion and a second.
Mhm.
Are we ready to vote?
Counselor Sarnoski.
Aye.
Counselor Smalley.
Aye.
Counselor Hamilton.
Hi,
Council President Whitaker.
Aye.
Counselor Woods.
Hi.
Counselor Daigle.
I,
Mayor Sumner.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under resolution 2026.04, fire department surplus property, staff report.
Mayor and Council, Deputy Chief Scott McKnight, we're asking you to surplus a 2008 Ford Expedition. It served its life for the city, and we would like to sell that unit to Fair Oaks Rural Fire District for $4,000.
Do I have a motion?
Mid portion, we surplus fire department. As presented.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Is that like Kelly a little bit price on it? Yeah.
I was gonna say that when we had to wait sentence. Yeah, a motion in a second.
I have a first by Sarnoski and a second by Smalley.
Any discussion? And yes, that was this one. On it, yes. Any other discussion? Ready to vote?
Counselor Sarnoski.
Aye.
Counselor Smalley.
Aye.
Counselor Hamilton.
hi,
Council President Whitaker.
Aye.
Counselor Woods.
Hi.
Counselor Daigle.
Aye.
Mayor Sumner.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under budget committee applications, staff report.
Mayor and councilors, Richard Benaway was previously on the budget committee. His term ended at the end of 2025. He applied for a new term. The 4 openings we currently have all have terms ending 12/31/2028. Your options are to appoint or deny Richard Benaway to the budget committee with a term ending 12/31/2028. The suggested motion is to appoint Richard Benaway to the budget committee with a term ending 12/31/2028.
I'll make a motion to appoint Richard Benaway to the budget committee with a term ending 12/31/2028.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
You do a good job.
I think it was carried on. Any other discussion? Ready to vote?
Counselor Sarnoski.
Aye.
Counselor Smalley.
Aye.
Counselor Hamilton.
hi,
Council President Whitaker.
Aye.
Counselor Woods.
Hi.
Counselor Daigle.
Aye.
Mayor Sumner.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under the initiative petition, staff report.
Mayor and councilors, an initiative petition G 2025-02 was created as an opposition to the ordinance 1100, the public safety fee. On January 15th, 2026, the county elections office informed the city recorder that minimum signatures required had been met on the initiative petition. From the initiative petition, if approved, it would repeal chapter 3.18, and the city would have to determine a different funding source to maintain current police and fire service levels. If enacted, the measure would also seek to require a vote for the new safety fee is imposed. The next step of the process is to review the initiated measure and decide how to proceed. The council has three options. The first option is the city adopts the initiative. This allows the initiative to go into effect without an election being held. This would require an ordinance to be drafted by our March 9th meeting. The option two, the city declines to enact the initiative unless state law or city charter ordinance requires a vote on the initiative. The official submits the measure to the city voters at the next available, which would be the May election date. And the attached resolution outlines those steps. And then there's option three, the city declines to enact the initiative and refers a competing measure that is prepared no later than 30 days after the initiative measure was filed with the governing body, which is today. So the official would submit a competing measure to the city of voters at the same May election as the initiated measure. This method would require the council to come up with what they would like the competing measure to be. The estimated cost to the city to put up the items for the elections office is $9,270 per measure. So you have the three options to adopt the initiative as ordinance 1107 as presented. I'm sorry, that's not fun. That would be to move forward with that to the next meeting, to reject the initiative and adopt resolution 2026.05 as presented, or to reject the initiative and refer a competing measure.
Can you read the title of the initiative that would be on the ballot that was the signatures? Do you have that? I didn't see it in the packet.
I don't believe I have that handy.
Do you have the title of the initiative as it states?
I think
Yes. It's in the staff report
Yeah, it should be a staff report.
I didn't see it.
where it says caption repeal of public safety fee.
Oh,
Well, I don't think that's the whole title of it.
that's from what they turned in.
What would but there's a question on it that comes on.
I believe it's in there, because that was copied directly from what they turned in. The petition form.
Chance to come through each of these and make it clearer to us.
Or layman's terms.
Myself.
What does it say? On the staff report.
It says caption repeal of public safety fee. That's the name of it, but
There's more.
there's more to it.
There is
than-
more to it than that.
than it says, because I remember when I read it, there was a question on it. On
Should
should you do this or that, and then it had like a long
required.
sentence on it.
to have a public vote for any
Yeah,
new public safety fee,
Nobody has it here in this room?
So, Mayor, maybe I can explain. So when they submit an initiative petition, what happens then is that we have to draft a ballot title. And then that ballot title goes through a process where where it's publicly noticed, it can be challenged by any elector. Once that ballot title is finalized, that's the ballot title that goes on the petition that gets circulated. When the signatures are then gathered, if they collect enough signatures to make it to the ballot, which they've done here, then the ballot title, which was used on the petition, is what actually appears on the ballot. So what you have in your staff report is the actual ballot title that was on the petition and what will appear on the ballot for the voters to review. So
So all the voters we're gonna see is repeal the public safety fee.
No, so they'll see all three of those things that are in your staff report. You'll see the caption, the question, and the summary. All of that will be on the ballot.
Okay.
Well, in the voter information pamphlet, I should say. The ballot will have the question, should chapter 3.18 of the Southern Municipal Code establishing a public safety fee be repealed?
This is really confusing. Why can't we discuss this before we get a motion? I think to me like there's some things to be talked about before we make a decision on this.
So do you want to read option 1 and then discuss, and then read option 2 and then discuss, and then read option 3 and discuss?
Okay, so option 1 is the city adopts the initiative. So this allows the initiative to go into effect without an election being held.
And what does that mean? So
That means we just repeal it right now. And the fee stops. And we don't have an election, we don't vote, and from now on, we cannot implement a fee without going to a vote. That's option 1.
that's option 1. Okay.
That's option 1.
Any questions on option 1? Okay. Option 2.
The city declines to enact the initiative. The official submits the measure to the city voters at the next, which would be May election date. And it follows the resolution that's in there, so it takes it to a vote.
So we pay $9,000 and it goes on to the into the election, and it will read repeal public safety fee, and people will vote yes or no. And if it passes, then it stops then. And the same thing happens. We no longer have the safety fee, and we will have to go to vote if we ever want to do it.
But that establishes policy, right? At that point,
At that point,
that any new fee has to be put to the vote.
yes.
Okay.
Public safety fee.
Any public
Any
safety?
public.
Public safety, yes. Number 3.
So number 3 is essentially the same as 2, but you'd be putting up a countermeasure for the election.
In which case we would have to pay a second 9,000 plus vote or money, and we could then put a second ordinance on to vote for, and it could be titled what we wanted it to say. And it could be something to the effect of don't repeal the fee, but here are some ramifications, or here are some broader things, or we will cap it at $5, or we will review it every year, or something, whatever we want it to say, something like that.
Yeah, something.
This still goes to a vote.
Right.
It will still go to a vote.
Some adjustments or.
There would be 2 ballots on the measure, or 2
Yeah.
measures on the ballot. Okay.
Yes,
Measures on the ballot.
yes.
Did
If
it
that-
ever occur to anybody to get together with the people opposed to this and try to work out a compromise or something that would be satisfactory to both people? Seems to me like that being all these solutions. It's like, I think these people need to be heard. We have 800 people sign that petition?
900.
Yeah, well,
And Gary, I think that is a very a very good idea. I've thought about that myself. And I don't know, I mean, maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, Chad. You can cut me off if you want, but I know that a lot of those people who signed that ballot do support public safety. And in fact, so in my city manager's report, I was going to talk about, you know, the emotions of what this has caused. And I think that it's possible that if there were discussions back and forth that were professional discussions that were by trusted individuals, that I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering if this really has to happen at all. But I think that's a very good point.
I think this is kind of the way it's supposed to work, though.
Correct.
You know, the city's made a decision and the people voting didn't like it, so they got enough signatures. And now if we do it the way we're supposed to do it, allow their petition to go through, essentially that sets guardrails for the city from this point forward.
And that was another thing that's another thing I was gonna talk about in my report is this is the process of government.
Yeah,
I mean, this is exactly the process of government. It's a great example of it.
Well, we can't just ignore 900 voters.
Right.
They're telling us what they want.
Yep.
So we have to go hope that.
So that doesn't mean that the safety fee's gone, it just means it's going to get voted on.
Right, yeah.
Change it a little bit.
The way it should be.
I also want to add, I've talked to a lot of people about this, and nobody is against the police, and this isn't a defunding the police kind of a thing at all. And the city council didn't intend it to be that way either. It was just a way to solve a problem. In the process, we probably created another problem, but it's the same. Here we are. And I don't want to ignore these people. I believe they need to be heard.
Yeah.
So the only question is 2 or 3, right?
Right,
They want to change it, and we know they're gonna take to the vote no matter what.
right. So do we want to just leave it for a vote, or do we want to have also add an alternative for vote?
Is there really any advantage to adding an alternative? Does it?
It depends on if we want to offer a second choice to leave the public safety beyond, just have better parameters around it.
When would the election be, May?
It's May. I don't know what date in May.
Chad has something too.
Chad, go for it.
All right, so I just want to maybe clarify a couple things related to what Kurt just said, is that at this point, because the signatures have been gathered and turned in, the chief petitioners cannot withdraw the measure. So this measure has to appear on the ballot if the council decides not just to adopt the repeal itself. And so the alternative is that the council could, if you wanted to, propose an alternative measure to be voted on at the same election. And so during that process, you could have Kurt, the council could direct Kurt or other staff or delegate to members of the council to have discussions with the chief petitioners and others during the next 30 days before your next council meeting. So really the next 20 days to see if they can come up with an alternative that everyone would support. And if you reach that conclusion, then staff could bring back such an ordinance at your March 9th meeting that you would also place on the ballot, in which case during the campaign, the chief petitioners and everyone else could say, we've reached this compromise, vote for the second measure, not the first measure. And the way it works is whichever measure receives the most positive votes, if they both pass, is the one that actually takes effect. And it's possible that one could fail and one could pass. And in that situation, the one that passed would take effect. If they both fail, then neither of them takes effect and the law just remains as it is. So in essence, if you want to explore other opportunities, my suggestion would be for you to delegate to either a couple members of the council or to staff to have conversations with chief petitioners and other interested parties to see within the next 20 days if they can come up with a compromise in order to be able to post notice and then bring it back to you for a referral to the May ballot at your March 9th meeting. In that case, then you would refer both measures to the May 9th meeting. But again, during the campaign, everyone could go out with a unified voice saying, vote for the second one, not the first one.
Could we, can we pause on this? Initiative petition right now and wait till that then? To the
Yeah, you
next-
could wait for both for your March 9th meeting. You have to do it within 30 days after it was filed with you, and it was filed with you today. So you have 30 days from today to make a decision on both those things.
And I believe we're having the second meeting in February, so we could probably do it then.
You can do it then, or you can do it again, even at your March 9th meeting is still fine because February is a short month, so that's still within the 30 days.
Do you guys want to consider looking into that and waiting
More time to explore it.
more time to explore? Okay. So let's defer this to the either the February or March meeting. And we can discuss. You want to discuss now if a group of people or and if you guys are interested in that.
We've been interested in talking to you from
Okay.
the beginning.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. Kurt, do you want to put together a group? Do you want to do it now or later?
Later.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. On to public works vehicle purchase, staff report.
Mayor, Council, Aaron Swan, Public Works. Glad to get an opportunity here to clear things up. I would like to first address Mr. Spielbush's questions about things. And Larry, you are welcome to call my office anytime. And my door's open as well. If you've got some questions about something that's coming up that has to do with me, that might we could avoid coming here and having a bunch of things wrong that I have to correct. The first thing is, this is not a heavy haul dump truck. It's a regular old 10-yard dump truck. The box on it's a little bit big. I didn't ask for that, but it's a little oversized. But if we have to haul bark mulch, or if we have to put it in place of our other truck out at treatment to haul cake, we can haul more volume. So it is kind of handy. But this thing will be licensed like any dump truck you see running around here. It's got 20,000 pound front axle, 46,000 rears. It's pretty standard stuff. So that's the first thing. I can see how you were confused by the 21.8 yards. It's that's a lot of volume, but once again, that's you'd never haul that much rock in this thing. You'd be so far overweight that it wouldn't make any sense at all. So that's I hope clears up the part about it being this super heavy duty off-road type truck. We're not purchasing it to use it on Oak Street Commons. We're gonna if that project goes through, that's going to be a contracted bid. We're not going to be doing the volume of the work out there. So this is a standard truck that our oldest dump truck is a 92, I believe. So it's 34 years old this year. It works, but it's, I have to balance trying to keep my inventory sort of new. I don't want to have stuff that's 40 years old. It just starts to break down. The other questions, did we take bids? We did not take bids. I have gotten several prices in the last year. This is by far and away the cheapest truck. We're up around 250 down to 225 for these rigs. They've got some chassis in the yard that are 2025, and they want to move those out to make room for the 26s, and that's making that's given us a pretty good deal to grab at. Like I said, I've been at this for a year trying to find a truck, and so that's by far and away the best price that I've seen at all. This stuff just costs so much these days, whether it's a fire truck or a dump truck or a police car. It's insane how much this stuff is. So we did not get bids. This is through a source well contract. So that kind of guarantees you the low price. It makes it so you don't have to try to get 3 bids, and you never get 3 that all the trucks are exactly alike. It's apples to oranges a lot of the time. So the source well guarantees you're getting the best possible price. So I think that kind of covers where we're at. The staff report, we budgeted for this truck. We've like I said, I've looked for a year. My suggested motion would be to approve the purchase of the 2025 Peterbilt 567 dump truck as presented. And I can take any other questions.
One question I got.
Let's get a motion first.
I make a motion, we approve the build and purchase of the 2025 Peterbilt 567 dump truck.
I'll second.
First by Whitaker and second by Sarnowski.
Okay, now discussion.
One question I was asked was, do we use a dump truck very often?
A lot.
A lot?
Yeah.
Do we have one that big now?
We do not. Well, we have one at wastewater that's a 10-yard, and they use it to haul cake with. At Public Works, we have 2 5-yard trucks. We used to have a 5-yard and a 10-yard. Right before I got here, they got rid of the old auto cart 10-yard truck, and they bought this Freightliner 5-yard. It's a nice truck. That was in 04. So that's our newest dump truck, which is, going to be 22 years old here this year. So we could buy with 2 5-yards, but I got to tell you, if you go to buy a 5-yard truck, you're going to pay $160 for that. They're not like half as much. It's a lot. So what we do is, we haul a lot of rock to our stockpile, and then we use our stockpile to fill in after we repair water leaks and sewer line breaks and alley repair, things like gravel road repair. So we haul that stuff over there and spread it on the roads. But while we're hauling to our stockpile, that's just twice as many trips. We burn up a whole day adding to our stockpile, and then a quick job and it's gone, So
But we could have contractors get that pile full also, right?
We could.
This is like bad timing with the safety fee and all that right now to buy a brand new Peterbilt dump truck.
But he's also been saving up, how you put so
Right.
much into.
Tammy can attest that I've had a dump truck on the list for 7-8 years,
Awarded a reimbursement to cover the difference, so I think it's in the budget for it. It's not like they're.
I'm just thinking if that safety fee fails, can we move that money, cover that?
This is over in Public Works Reserve.
We can't just move it. It's
Separate funds.
So, I mean, and if you all don't think, we'll keep going with the little old dump truck, for a few more years.
Have the other trucks been maintenance problems yet, or
Not particularly, some nickel and dime stuff, but
nothing serious?
nothing terribly serious.
So you'll keep both of those?
I'll get rid of the older 5-yard if we get this truck. I'll surplus that International, that 92 International. I'd surplus it out.
Is there how the car dealers have a zero interest or special?
Pardon me, Gary, or what did you say? I didn't hear you.
Sorry, the car dealers have like a zero interest or incremental payment thing. Is there a possibility with something like this?
We have purchased some things with payment plans and different things. I think we have the money to just buy this truck. So like I said, I've been putting it away for.
It just, if it doesn't cost us anything to finance it that way, then we could spread that money out.
Right. Because I thought, I feel like the money's there. I did not inquire about, a payment plan or buying it on a contract at this particular. I mean, I could look into that. Like I said, the money's sitting in that Public Works Reserve, so.
Well, it seems like if it doesn't cost us anything to do that, that might be a good alternative to
Yeah,
spending the money that we might need for something else.
right. I
Wait,
usually,
Tammy just got done saying that that money is in the truck reserve for
It's in the Public Works Reserve.
And you can't just take that money and put it somewhere else.
No, but you can have other public works projects that use some money possibly. I don't know.
And to say that the lease doesn't cost anything involved, that you're gonna have to pay interest on.
Well, that's why I said, it's, you know, some dealers offered zero interest on this is, and I have to know a friend several years back that bought a truck, and basically they wanted to sell that truck, and it didn't actually cost him anything to finance it, he just paid for it as he used it. I'm just saying, maybe it's a possibility to check into that, but it did that.
yeah, you bet. And I haven't done that on this one, because like I said, I thought, but I could find out. It's just right now interest is higher than, I haven't seen a lot of those 0% deals in several years.
Like happen for trucks, I'm just thought
Right,
might be something to check in.
right. They do for equipment sometimes and stuff, you bet. I can look into that.
I just think it's gonna be hard for people to understand, a brand new dump truck running around or implementing the safety fee. It's hard to explain.
Oh, yeah, and they don't,
I understand you can't move the funds for.
yeah, they don't understand. General public does not understand that you can't take one from this over to this one.
It's the same as buying a new police car, I mean, a new fire truck, as older equipment starts to go, you have to continue to buy it to run the city. And if you're putting the money every month or every 6 months or however often you put it in to buy it, it's that time to buy it, and you have the funds set aside to do it.
I understand,
And-
that's what they're gonna see is.
Right, and I don't want to hit you with that salesman bit about, if you don't want to do it now, or it's going to be gone. But this is, once again, this is the lowest price I've seen in 12 months, not by 5,000 or 10,000, but by $30,000. So, but yeah, I mean, heck, that's why you guys get paid the big bucks. You got to decide.
What do you think you could sell that 5-yard?
It'll go to an auction. It may bring 12, 15, I don't know, 12 grand, something like that,
Take that off of.
Yeah, you could, I
How
mean,
much is FEMA?
no, I have to, I don't, that FEMA,
You looked confused when you
Yeah.
said that, but that was in our report.
it
Well-
was?
Yeah, so there in the budget was $175,000 for a dump truck. It's what we budgeted for. And we were expecting and hoping, and obviously prices have changed a lot from a year ago. And he's been running into that, if he's been looking for a reasonable item. And as we were talking about this, I told him that we are getting a reimbursement back from FEMA on the March 16th event that would cover the difference in cost. It would, from basically, they reimburse us for our equipment use during that time and staff time, overtime and things like that were dedicated to that event. And so the total for the equipment side of that is about $19,000.
Aaron, if you had this truck, would it be a laser savings to the city?
Yeah, just less trips, and I don't know if I brought this up, but like for bark mulch, for lighter type items that we do have to haul and for our parks and things, you could haul a tremendous amount of that for the weight because it is a big box.
Right.
So I would save a lot of, that would save 4 trips in the little truck essentially.
And fuel costs.
Fuel and just time and that sort of thing. And so.
I wasn't aware of trucks from that.
Yeah. Well, like I keep telling you guys, I don't come here asking for stuff. And willy-nilly. I'm very tight-fisted with the public works money. And so I feel like it's time, but could we scrape by for a few more years? You bet. Yeah. So that's,
And it will be higher.
it will be guaranteed.
I do have to say that Aaron was very excited when this truck was offered at that price. He was almost jumping up and down.
Do you like that? Any other discussion? Let's vote.
Counselor Sarnoski. Counselor Smalley.
No.
Counselor Hamilton.
Aye.
Council President Whitaker.
Aye.
Counselor Woods.
Repeat that, Lisa, please.
No.
Counselor Daigle.
I guess I'll vote no.
Mayor Summer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
On to reports. Any reports?
I don't believe so.
Okay. City manager report.
Well, I don't really have an.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we do.
Oh. Christie, go for it.
Or Tyler came here. All the way up here.
So, it's one of the council priorities for years now. The Umpqua Basin intertie water main has been a project. And so I'm going to turn it over to Tyler with the Dyer Partnership to share a little bit of information. We've been working on this for, I'm going to say, years. And we're finally getting to a point that we're moving it forward. So this is kind of one of those bringing you up to where we are today.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. Thank you for your time this morning. I'm Tyler Molitor with the Dyer Partnership. And like Christy spoke about, just basically giving an introduction regarding the hydraulic water system interconnection with the Umpqua Basin Water Association. So go ahead and dance. So a little bit of background. The city is in a situation where they need water. The city has two water treatment plants, Cooper Creek Water Treatment Plant, as well as the Non-Perel Water Treatment Plant. The Non-Perel facility runs year round, whereas the Cooper Creek facility, just based upon the raw water quality there, it typically operates from late spring through the summer and sometimes into the fall. The combined water treatment plant capacity with both of your facilities operating at their full capacity is about 3.3 million gallons per day. Your max demand in recent years, just based upon your population growth and whatnot that's occurred, your max demand has recently approached approximately 3.2 billion gallons per day. Additionally, your max demand, or excuse me, your water demand in July and August, which is your peak demand time period, your water demand during that time period is regularly above 3 million gallons per day. And so effectively you're operating at max capacity with both of your water systems operating at their maximum output. So that coupled with just your increasing demand and your population growth in this area puts you in the predicament that you need more water. So with that, compounding the issue, the Cooper Creek Reservoir has increasingly difficult water to treat in the late summer and fall time periods. And so very high level that basically that the reservoir turns anoxic, very low oxygen levels in the summertime period, and your raw water manganese, as well as your hydrogen sulfide and a lot of your raw water quality becomes increasingly difficult to treat. This graph that you're seeing basically shows month by month raw water manganese. And effectively, in late summer and continuing into the fall, your manganese gets so high that the city's forced to turn off the plant in late summer and early fall. Go ahead. And so really the situation, to put it into context, your peak demand occurs in July and August. And towards the kind of the end of July as well, and sometimes in August, and usually all the time in September, the city's forced to turn off, shut down Cooper Creek. So it's a very difficult situation that the city's in, and such that effectively you're hoping that you can run Cooper Creek long enough to get through max demand before you have to turn it off. And so this table shows you the shutdown dates where the city has been forced to shut off a plant, a Cooper Creek facility, for the last approximately 5 years. So 2 out of the 5 years you've had to shut off the plant in July and August. So in 2001 you shut down the plant July 29th, right kind of in the middle of your max demand period. And then in 2024 it was middle of August. So, and then usually early September you have to shut the plant down. So there's a lot of variability in when it has to be shut down, just based upon, you know, rainfall and temperatures and a lot of other factors. But operational staff at Cooper Creek don't sleep that well at night in July and August and in that time period. So what that means is that you're at an increased risk of water curtailments. On top of that, just the capacity restrictions, as well as your treatability issues at Cooper Creek. There's water right limitations at Cooper Creek and Calapooia. So those are the two main raw water sources in the area. And historically, the city has had to impose curtailments to reduce water usage. And those were primarily when the city's been upgrading plants. But that's just kind of an early indicator as to the stress that the city's in with respect to water. So go ahead. There's been a number of studies and agreements that have occurred for the last couple decades. So this situation has been known and has been studied extensively for a long time. The primary study that looked at what the city what the options are was the water master plan that was developed in 2006, and that looked at various ways to use a water right that the city strategically obtained years ago on the North Umpqua River, excuse me. So that the city has a 3 CFS water right. That's 2 million gallons per day on the North Umpqua River, and that's really the primary high quality water source in the area. There's really not a lot of other alternatives. So the city has this 3 CFS water right. The 2006 water master plan looked at how to access that to start to address this water issue the city has. So the 2006 study looked at kind of 7 different alternatives and looked at the total cost of what it would cost to treat the water and get it to the city in a variety of different options. The original point of diversion for that water right is upstream of the Winchester Dam. And the original intent was actually to pump the North Umpqua River water over to the Cooper Creek Reservoir. That presented quite a few challenges, obviously very costly. And there's a number of different alternatives that were evaluated at the time. where we looked at kind of the total cost of ownership, upfront capital costs, long-term costs, and lots of different variables. But ultimately, the recommendation at the time was to partner with Umpqua Basin Water Association, which has a water treatment plant on the North Umpqua River. Partner with Umpqua Basin, have them treat the water, and then hydraulically connect these systems so that the city can purchase water from Umpqua Basin Water Association. This figure shows the various options that were analyzed by way of the 2006 study. And so effectively, again, like I said previously, the one option was to pump water from the North Umpqua over to Cooper Creek. One option was to install another treatment plant on the North Umpqua River. Another option was to install a treatment plant on the Umpqua River, and several different other alternatives. And then the one that was ultimately recommended was to establish an intergovernmental agreement with Umpqua Basin and purchase water through Umpqua Basin Water Association. The city at that time, and it's been 20 years, but they executed an agreement with Umpqua Basin Water Association in 2006, and went into an agreement, a water access agreement. At the time, Umpqua Basin was constructing a new facility, a new membrane facility. The city paid Umpqua Basin approximately $595,000 at the time in 2006 to increase the size of that building so that the city could eventually connect, and that would be space available to expand the membrane facility with Umpqua Basin. So the city basically has a water access agreement with Umpqua Basin to facilitate this connection. Umpqua Basin also has a water master plan that was updated in 2023, and they looked at ways to effectively reduce the upfront cost associated with connecting to Umpqua Basin, because to utilize the full 3 CFS water right to get would require upgrades to their facility to provide the full 3 CFS. And so Umpqua Basin looked at what could be put in place initially that would minimize any upgrades that they would have to do, and that flow rate is approximately 400,000 gallons per day. So, so the interconnection between the two systems, the overall objectives would be to increase your demand during that period, increase the overall system redundancy and reliability, and then provide that emergency interconnection to where if you ever had an issue with your water system currently, that you could be able to procure emergency water from Umpqua Basin. WIAC now, peak demand is approaching system capacity. Already you're at 3.2 MGD. Your capacity is 3.3 ultimately, and with treatability issues that are occurring at Cooper Creek, as well as your water right restrictions, it's past due. You've had Cooper Creek shutdowns every year, sometimes in July and August, and usually in September. You have water right limitations. Even if Cooper Creek was running 100%, you'd be up against water right restrictions. And then the city has recently obtained a couple favorable funding packages that I'll present on here shortly. And then delay in the project just increases that risk of curtailments, not being able to meet demand, and then obviously just rate impact. So the scope of improvements for phase 1 would consist of around a 3.5 mile water main that would connect the two systems. booster pump station building, and associated kind of ancillary components. The pipeline routing is kind of preliminary pipeline routing is in process with Umpqua Basin, but it's tentatively kind of in the vicinity of Wilbur, and then traveling north up to the city of Sutherlin, and the southernmost area where your existing water distribution structure is. Planning level cost estimate, and this is a budgetary level, and there's a number of factors that are still in process, including just the connection fee with Umpqua Basin. But phase one cost is 9.6 million, and that would be inclusive of construction, contingency, engineering, legal and administration, land acquisition, and then associated environmental and permitting, just as a requirement of the funding agencies. So the city last year applied for a safe drinking water state revolving fund, and is in the process of completing that application. That includes a $650,000 principal forgiveness, and then a 1% loan at a 30-year term. And then the city just recently received preliminary feedback from Business Oregon in their water and wastewater funding program to apply for a $750,000 principal forgiveness, 1% loan, and 30-year term. The city's currently needing to do a rate evaluation and analysis as these funding packages are finalized to really understand the implications with your water rates and your user charges. Tentative schedule, funding acquisition and rate analysis will continue for the first part of 2026. Routing and land acquisition would kind of occur in parallel with the funding, and that would also happen in early 2026. Design and environmental permitting be initiated in approximately May 2026 and continue for about a year. And then the construction process is estimated about a 2-year construction process. So commissioning wouldn't be until 2029, and with any construction project like this, there's always unknowns and uncertainties. So it's typically a 3 to 5 year process from start to finish. So this is kind of just an initial introductory presentation. Full intent to provide more information as the project is developed and as funding is more solidified. But again, the opportunity to kind of provide some background information on the situation. Questions?
I have one, but I don't know if I'm on base here. Those, and I can't even remember which column, but what we put into Cooper Creek. Doesn't that cause more oxygen in the water? Has that not helped with that, or?
Yeah, so those have been installed for approximately 3 years. And what it appears in it, every year is a little bit different. And the water quality at Cooper Creek is different just with temperatures and the amount of inflow that there is, but it has seemed to help the situation. But with your water rights restrictions at Cooper Creek and on the Calapooia, the mixers have been able to kind of give you a period of some help for a while, but you're still in a situation where it doesn't fix the entire situation.
Yeah. And I might note from the land use side that we have lots of buildable land still available. And so as you'll notice, the subdivisions, the planning and developments, and so that all comes into play, but you can't use that on any of the funding package information or anything. They don't want to rely on the growth as the need. So where we're kind of already there, keeping that in the back of your head too, of the fact that we do have developments taking place.
So is it grants and other avenues to get that money, or is it gonna be all put on the taxpayer? Like, is our water rates gonna double?
Well, so that would be an analysis. So, and Tammy might be able to chime in here. We have that annual CPI that we currently increase, every July. However, so the positive side could be that it won't implicate the rates at all. The other side would be, it could maybe minimally. That's one of the studies that have been done through this process that's required by the finance companies.
How much is 3 gallons per second? You were talking about so many gallons per day that the city uses or whatever.
Yeah, so the water right, I think this is your question, but please confirm. The water right on the North Umpqua is 3 cubic feet per second, 3 CFS. That's approximately it's like 1.93 million gallons per day. And the city's current consumption demand is 3.2 max day, is regularly over 3. And just to not be more bearer of bad news, but like if you look like even further, like 30-40 years, you eventually will have a lot worse problems, because that 3 CFS is not going to provide enough water like way down the road.
Well, we're almost bumping up against our maximum that we can get anywhere, aren't we?
With Cooper Creek and Calapooia, that's correct.
Right. From the river, from the river and from the creek. We're almost bumped up against the maximum that we have rights for.
That's correct.
Okay, so we're almost to the point where we don't have any choice but to tie in with the river.
That's correct.
We have a big dump truck.
Unless you buy some more dump trucks.
More dump truck, water trucks too.
But you think going back here stuff.
Yeah, heavy duty one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other report? City manager report.
Mayor, council, just hang on, because last time it wasn't on. Should be on, okay. Nope. Is it on? So I need to thank Tyler with Dyer, because coming into this position and not knowing how these big projects get done. Those guys sitting in meetings with Tyler is I'm obviously the dumbest person in the room, which typically is always the case. But those guys, they do a lot of work, and it's amazing what they're helping the city do. So a couple of things I just want to talk about: this public safety fee a little bit and the budget. It's obvious that our staff takes things personal, and as does council and the mayor. Everybody here works really hard. Like I was saying, when Aaron found out that he could get that dump truck for that price, Aaron was obviously ecstatic about that. He'd been working on that for a long time, and when the price of that dump truck came out, he took that personal. Same with Tammy. When Tammy told me the other day that the budget keeps her up at night, and it's true. People take things personal. So when things get put on Facebook about the city and about the staff, people take it personal. Councilor Smalley was just telling me about something he read on Facebook the other day. I think it was this morning or last night, that really made him angry. And so I think this isn't just a message for us. This is a message for our community that we're working hard. And and just like what Gary and Adam said about this is a process of government, the process of government is getting people to pass a petition around and get people to sign it so that things get put on the ballot. Having their voices heard. The 900 people that signed the petition, yeah, they should not be ignored. But also at the same time, stay off the people. If you want to attack a policy, or if you want to attack a report or a budget, attack the report or a budget or the policy, don't attack people. So, as far as this, the public safety fee goes, hopefully we can come to an agreement. I know that there was somebody who was in my office the other day who said they wanted to fight about it, my answer to that is we got to remain professional. We got to do our job, and it is just a job, right? Even though we're working very hard at it. So we don't want to create enemies. We want to be able to communicate back and forth and hopefully get the job done. The other thing I want to say is this 10 a.m. meeting, it's crazy because I don't feel rushed, right? Those 7 p.m. meetings, hey, all I wanted to do was get home. So, for me personally, I think this is nice because I don't feel rushed. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. On to council comments. Remember, monthly meeting time is limited. Please ask questions or make statements that are likely to benefit the group. Individual comments and questions that can be handled on a one-on-one basis should be handled outside the meeting. Start with Councilor Sarnowski.
Nothing.
Okay. Councilor Smalley.
Kind of on what Kurt was saying, I agree that people shouldn't be attacking people on Facebook. It's because they don't come to meetings or call staff to be better, informed on what's actually going on. Like they're coming up with their own ideas and putting it out there, and most of the time it's not approved. They took the time to come in and talk to us. I'm always at my shop and get better informed. And yeah, the 10 a.m. meeting is great. It feels more like some business now, not just a meeting. So yeah, that's it.
Councilor Hamilton.
I would agree with what Sean and Kurt both said, but that's it. I have nothing.
Council President Whitaker.
I don't have anything.
Councilor Woods.
She's trying.
I was trying to get to the mute button. I don't have anything to add, just I'm glad to be able to zoom in on the call. And she woke up. Okay.
Councilor Daigle.
Well, I had a couple things. I wanted to make everybody aware, if they don't already know, is that the property that's out by Tractor Supply on the west side of that building, it's actually it's for sale as a food court for food trucks. And they say they have this already permitted, and they have 18 food spaces with plans for an on-site bar or a restaurant. And it's been on the market for 86 days. Do you know about that, Christy? Oh, okay. I just mentioned that to see if
Well, I don't think that's all necessarily true, but look, Christy.
The approval's been there for a year or two. It's, yeah.
And
We've
it's
been
the same
through it.
guy. Tell them that part.
Okay, fine. It's the same guy.
So apparently that it's the same guy that's doing the one here. And it was already approved for that, so that the realtor kind of is just selling it as an option. So that's the realtor's prerogative, so
I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of it. Other than that, something I always said, and Tammy can back me up on this, I bet, is we have great people on our staff in Sutherlin, and they care about our city and they help us, and they're always positive when we talk to them. So I just want to throw that in. It's like we got good people here, and I'm glad that we have them and we're working with them. And that's all.
thank you. Thank you very much for what you said, because I'm happy to talk to people, and it doesn't bother me if you disagree with me. I love to have communication and discussions, even if you don't like my opinion. I appreciate it if you don't call me names on Facebook, because that has happened. Thank you for that. A couple things I would like to talk about. One is I would like to ask that we put on our next meeting the reevaluation of our public safety fees. I know we had talked about revisiting that in February, and whether or not we whatever we're going to do with the ballot measure. I think we still need to follow through with what we promised the citizens with the reevaluation of where these are right now. And so I think in doing so, if we are able to evaluate where we are and what we've collected so far, what are the needs for the police and fire department? What are the future needs for the next year? And if we still need to keep it at $9, can we reduce it? And where we need to go at this point, even if it's only for a few months. I think it's that's important for our citizens to evaluate that. Do we have any comments on that from?
Okay.
So I don't know if we need a motion for that or not. No, okay. So the other thing is we're going to have a grand opening, hopefully a ribbon cutting for the police department's first phase on February 26th at 3 o'clock.
Is it all done?
It will be all done by then. It will be guided tours because of the confidentiality inside the police department, so it won't just be a free for all for everyone going in, but we'll be allowed to have guided tours with police officers walking them through. And so hopefully I'll get the chamber to have a little ribbon cutting right at 3, and then have anyone who's interested in seeing it can come and get a guided tour through there. So I'm excited about that. And I think that's everything I have right now. Thanks everybody for coming at 10 o'clock. And from there we'll go to public comment to allow citizens to present information regarding items off the agenda. A time limit of 3 minutes per citizen shall apply. And I have one, Karen.
Karen Meyer Sutherlin. I heard something that is confusing when we were talking about funding and moving money. And Debbie, you said the citizens don't understand that we can't move money from one place to the other. And you were talking about moving money from Public Works to the general fund, I believe. Or to say.
I wasn't specific about it. I said in general,
Right.
the average person doesn't understand that there's certain accounts that you can't just switch money around in.
Okay, we took money from the Public Works Reserve Fund and put it in the general fund to buy a piece of property. Could we also take money from the Public Works Fund to put it in the general fund and use it for the safety department? That's my question. I have that question, and we can do that.
No, I will answer as soon as you use your minutes. I'll respond to that because I appreciate the moment to do that.
Okay. The other thing is, we're talking now about talking to the people. Let's have a conversation with the people now that the petition is signed. And with all due respect, we have tried to talk to you, the staff. We've tried to get information, and we just get a big roadblock. You know, it's like there's almost like a conspiracy to keep information from us. I have emailed to the council. I quit emailing you because I never got a reply. I have asked for information. My understanding with information from our city charter is that anytime a disbursement is made, you need to account for that disbursement to the people online. And now I'm told that if I want to know how much money is going into the Oak Street project, it's gonna cost me $62. And as a citizen, I'm kind of offended about that. And I don't have much more time, so I'll just tell you this. It looks to me like we're gonna have an increase in water rates. And if I were you, I would dump the Oak Street project. You can't afford it. We can't afford it. We're happy to talk to you, but I don't know. We'll talk about it, I guess, but I hope we can talk about it. Because we've tried to talk to you and we hit a roadblock, so.
So I meant to flesh out that comment that I said. Those funds, we couldn't move them over without an ordinance, a budget adjustment, and a targeted direction from council on that. It had also been an excessive accumulation over in the Public Works Reserve account, and per the financial policies of the city, that needs to come back to the general fund. The $175,000 that I budgeted over there for this dump truck is not an excessive fund buildup unless you determine it that way. So Aaron has equipment replacement schedule, and we work around that with the budget every year. So that is what we were operating off of for this money. And all of those things are at the discretion of, wait a minute, this doesn't fit our plan. We need to do this. So, but the reason those funds were available for Oak Street to move over was because it was an excessive fund balance. Build up over there. It's going to bring it back to the general fund, and then we start again with the allocation. Just clarifying.
But you could have used that money for the safety departments, right? Rather than to purchase Oak Street.
That was at the direction of the council. So once it came back into the general fund, it probably could have been used for whatever the council's priorities were. Again, that Oak Street was a moment in time where we were trying to be able to leverage as much money as possible to address emerging problem in our community.
And it was before the safety fee was brought to it.
It
was the same
And,
night.
and I wanted to address one other thing. We actually did, invite, Ms. Meyer to the city and have a meeting to discuss, so it's not like, we did not ignore, her questions, and we did not meet with her to discuss this, what she asked. So, but we're not gonna continue to have a back and forth.
Okay.
If you, we'll meet again and continue that. I appreciate that though. Any other public comments off? Right, anybody else? Meeting's adjourned, thank you.